Hi, my name's Katie Skilton. I'm a creative designer here at Sizzix. Today I want to show you how to make your cards so that they've got a secret little word hidden in them. So if you're using stamped images, you can see here that we've used the Thinlits alphabets and we've put the little word inside. So we're going to go through how you do that today, and we're going to use the fox one. So you need to start by choosing your stamped image. So I'm going to use the little fox. So we're going to take our fox card. Now you need to line this up twice. You need to stamp it twice in an identical way. So we're going to pop one piece of card onto our stamping platform, and we're going to decide where we want the stamp. So we want it positioned about here. Make sure it's straight. So we're going to lift that up and we're going to ink the stamp. Stamp it once, and we're going to leave the stamp on the platform, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to heat emboss this because we're going to use some alcohol markers with it. So I'm going to take some of our clear embossing powder and just sprinkle it on, and make sure it all gets a nice covering, and then I'm just going to heat emboss them. Just make sure every part is nicely heat embossed. So you can see now it's starting to change colour where it's going darker. You see that that's heat embossed using the embossing powders. So I'm going to repeat that process exactly the same. So the stamp is going to stay exactly where it is. I've got an identical piece of sized cardstock, and we're going to pop that in. So again, I'm going to ink our stamp, and this means it's still in exactly the same place, and we'll stamp our image. There we go. And again, we're going to heat emboss that one. Again, we'll just cover it with embossing powder. So we'll pop our embossing powder back into the pot before we get in a horrible mess with it. Now at this point, if you wanted to add more stamped details to your design, this is the point you do it, but you only need to do it on one of the sheets of paper. I'll move this out of the way. So at this point, I added, as you can see, there's some leaves added on this one. So on one of the panels here, we'll do it on this one because I've just got ink on it, I would add the leaves. Okay. So once you've done this, you're going to take both of your panels and you're going to colour them in. Now today I'm using the Sizzix permanent markers. Let's close that. And I'm just going to add some detail to the fox. So I'm going to take my bright orange marker first of all, and I'm going to colour. Now because you've heat embossed this, it makes it really easy to colour. If you're new to colouring, the embossing powder has made a raised line which helps you keep all of those colours in the lines. So we'll go round, and I'm just going to show you part of this because I have actually coloured it, but I just wanted to show you how you can blend the colours together. So we'll just add the first layer here, and this is just the bright orange. Obviously you would take your time in this more than I am now. Okay, so once you've done his face, I then use the yellow, and I would slightly go around the edge to give it some shade, and you can see the yellow is removing some of the orange and it's just giving it that shadow. You can do that as much as you like. You can put that on any part you like. Then you go in again with the orange and you start to re-blend that all in now. That's going to give you a lovely edge on your colouring, and you can see it's coming out lovely and smooth there now. So we'll just do his face today because I have already coloured some in. So you could do this technique with any stamp you like. You could do it with any alphabet you like. It needs to be a Thinlits die, not the big die, because you need to position the alphabet. So there we go. So there's his face. So here are two that I made earlier. So these two have now been coloured. This is going to be my main panel, and this one here is going to be the one that I die cut into. So in order to do this, we are going to take the top layer and we're going to use some of the sticky grid sheets. So I've cut this down to the same size, and I'm going to remove the paper from both sides. And I'm going to layer these one on top of the other so that they're in exactly the same position. And we're going to stick a sticky grid sheet on top. Now I can still see my image slightly through that. So I'm taking my sticky grid sheet and I'm going to stick the words in. The words need to go on backwards onto your sticky grid sheet. Now the sticky grid sheet allows you to line up your letters so that they're completely straight. I'm just using the grid lines here and I'm sticking on all of the letters, and I'm using the grid sheet to make sure we get it in exactly the right spot. So we now know those letters are straight. So pop that to the side and we're going to bring in the Big Shot. So at this point we're going to die cut into both pieces of card. So these cards need to lay down together, making sure that they're positioned exactly on top of each other. And then you're going to take your words and you're going to decide where you want to put them on the card. So at this point I want them to be lined up top of my fox image. Just going to make sure that's fine. So keeping your cardstock together, make sure they're perfect. We'll sandwich that in between and we can now run this through the machine. Now what this is going to do, this is going to die cut into the top panel. It's just going to leave a mark hopefully on the second panel. There we go. Let's move this up there. So you can see now this is your main panel. So on your main panel it's just left marks. On your first panel it's actually die cut the letters. So we'll remove this and we're going to take the letters. Right, we've now got our letters and we're just going to layer up. So we're going to take all the blank ones first and we're going to layer them. This is just to add dimension to it. So using a thin nozzle glue is the best way. And then on top of those letters you're going to add the coloured image. Make sure they're nicely lined up. So I say I already stuck two together here, so at the end you're going to have 4 layers of letters all stuck together on top of each other. Add the X. And finally we'll just add the Y together. So these are now lovely and dimensional, so we'll pop those down there. Now at this point you might want to start layering your cards, so you can mat and layer your image onto your cardstock if you want to, because it means that you don't have to touch it for a while once the letters are down. It just gives it that time to dry. So we're going to layer onto the black cardstock. And we'll add our letters on. So now you've got these indentations here, so you know exactly where they need to go in order for them to sit in the picture so that they're an identical fit. So just use those as guidelines. So we just need to work out which way this one's going. Down there, like so. That's it. So you can add any sort of hidden message you want into your images. So there we go. So I'll turn that one around for you to see, and I'm going to show you the finished ones. Now, as you can see with the finished ones, I matted and layered it onto the cardstock, and I've added the sentiment. I've also splashed it with some black ink just to give it some dimension. And I did this with a couple of different stamps, so you can see here that you get different results using the different stamps. But all in all, the technique's exactly the same. So you can use any of your alphabets, as long as they're Thinlit alphabets, you can line them up, then you can cut any sentiment into your cards. And if you've got any questions, get in touch. I know it's quite a, it's one of those things you need to play around with until you get it right. Make sure you look on social media for more inspiration from us at Sizzix. We're on Pinterest, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Share your makes with us, and I shall see you again next week.